So with Christmas just around the corner, I was looking at some of my devices and seeing what I would consider to be a great holiday gift for someone in your life that loves the Game Boy and retro gaming in general. So I feel like the FPGBC Handheld from Funny Plane fits the bill. With its great design resembling the Game Boy Color to having a rechargeable battery with USB-C charging and a fantastic looking screen, getting someone one of these kits or completed units is a must. They have so many options available on how you want it to look, so you can choose the colors and vibe you want. If you visit their website, which I'll link down below, you have a few options here. As you can see, you can customize the design of how you want the handheld to look, down to the color of the board, the color of the buttons, and the shell itself. Or you can go ahead and buy a unit that is built by them, and you can just choose a specific color that they have. I purchased the items and decided to put it together myself. The great thing about building this is that there is no soldering required, so it's a nice little project that doesn't require too much aside from some time and a screwdriver. I love the multiple color options they have, as you can see here, and if maybe they aren't interested in building one, you can buy a completed unit for a little more than it would cost you to buy the parts individually. I think it's a great price compared to some other units you see on the market right now that are usually $200 or more, and this does a great job at playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, with a similar looking screen to the Analog Pocket, which actually also uses an FPG board. Now, I went with the classic white colors. I just love the way tech looks, nice and sleek in it, but it's great that you can really customize it any way you want for the person you plan on getting it for. Or, you know, if you just end up getting one for yourself, that's fine too. Now, it plays just like a Game Boy Color, and I know some users have tested it saying it might be a little too fast compared to an actual Game Boy Color, but the difference that I've seen is very minimal. As you can see here, the screen just looks fantastic, and the speaker for the handheld is also nice and loud, which sounds great. Now, when you press the volume rocker on the left side, you are now seeing the menu options available for the device that you can modify and change to your heart's content. You can change the backlight levels here, you can adjust the volume here as well, to some more options like display mode, which lets you actually change to different display options. Now, there are two cores here, one for GBC games and one for Game Boy games. The difference there will be what core is loaded so that it will emulate either a GB or a GBC. As you can see, there's also a speed option as well that lets you change it to increase the speed of the game, but I usually leave it where it defaults to, as that is where it runs similar to an actual Game Boy Color. To make some of these changes, usually you want to save and then restart the handheld. Now, I'm going to show you a bit of Pokemon Gold here, and I just think that the screen is so beautiful, and games look incredible on it. I feel like in our hearts and minds, this is how we saw this game back then when we were playing it, even though we didn't have a beautiful backlight like we do now. It just looks wonderful. I love that the size of the screen is available to where you can change it if you want it a little bit smaller to kind of resemble more what the Game Boy Color screen size was. Now, loading up Link's Awakening here, I changed the core to GB so that it loads in the classic Game Boy colors. I mean, original Game Boy colors. What's great is that you still have options if you want it to look like a DMG or a Game Boy Pocket, and you can still set some palette options too. Now, for me, there's just some games that look better in black and white or the yellowish green tint that you can set it to. But you can also play these games on the GBC core as you saw before, so that it plays them as it would be on a Game Boy Color. I think this is a really great gift for someone or for yourself if you're interested in Game Boys. Many people out there don't want to bother with cartridges anymore, so if you feel that you fall in that category, then maybe this will not be for you. I'd recommend something like the Ambernic or Powkitty devices to do emulation that way. I think it's a great handheld for someone that doesn't want to spend too much on a device that lets you play cartridges. Yes, there's the Analog Pocket, which runs you over $200, and the new mod Retro Chromatic, which also runs you about $200. So this is going to be more for someone that maybe doesn't want to play on an original Game Boy or wants something that they can build and put together themselves. That's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching so much. I'll definitely see you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.